لازم بسم الله.
بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
ہے زینب، 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 کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، منظر ہے کربلا کا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، برچھی کا زخم تازہ تازندگی رہے گا، برچھی کا زخم تازہ تازندگی رہے گا، اکبر کا ہے کلیجہ زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، سگرا نظر اٹھاؤ قاسم کا حال دیکھو، سگرا نظر اٹھاؤ قاسم کا حال دیکھو، بکھرا ہوا ہے لاشا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، اے دیدائے تصور تجھ کو دکھائی دے گا، اے دیدائے تصور تجھ کو دکھائی دے گا، چھوٹا سا ایک جھولا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، عباس کے بریداں ہاتھوں کی داستاں ہے، عباس کے بریداں ہاتھوں کی داستاں ہے، بہتا ہے غم کا دریا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، زندان شام میں ہے چھوٹی سی قبر لیکن، زندان شام میں ہے چھوٹی سی قبر لیکن، موجود ہے سکینہ زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، کیا دیکھتی ہے سگرا زینب کے آنسوؤں میں، اب آن اور محمد بھی یاد آ رہے ہیں، اب آن اور محمد मोहम्मद भी याद आ रहे हैं। होने लगा इजाफा ज़ैनब के आंसुओं में, क्या देखती है सुगरा ज़ैनब के आंसुओं में। जुल्मों से तम के मंज़र सब देख ले मदीना, जुल्मों से तम के मंज़र सब देख ले मदीना। है शाम और कूफा ज़ैनब के आंसुओं में, क्या देखती है सुगरा ज़ैनब के आंसुओं में। मंजर है करबला का ज़ैनब के आंसुओं में। बर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात।
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Jazakallah. Thank you, Kazim. Inshallah, I'd like to request Dr. Farid Musui to deliver his lecture. For his health and safety, please recite aloud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Abu al-Qasim Mustafa Muhammad wa ala alihi tayyibin at-tahirin. Before we start our topic, which is Shahadat Sayyid Zainab, I would like all of you to inshallah pray for the fast recovery of our dear brother Lazi, who is still in the hospital. May Allah return him to his family. May Allah give him shafa, and may Allah help the family to inshallah keep the faith, and inshallah Allah will reward them with sawab. We miss him. He is one of those mukhlis brother, Khadim Jafaria, who has committed and who has made so many efforts without expecting any rewards, serving the community, and may Allah accept all his services and return him safe back to his family. Shahadat Sayyid Zainab is one of those grave masa'ib that has happened to Ahl al-Bayt. And her masa'ib started at birth, when she was born. When she was first given in the arms of Rasulullah, Rasulullah told everyone, love this girl, for she is the most equal person to Khadija. And in that, just one phrase, so many hidden faza'il of Zainab is covered. Khadija gave everything she had for Islam. Because of Khadija, Kalamatullah ilaha illallah spread. And because of Zainab, Kalamatullah ilaha illallah continues to date to spread. And she also gave everything she had for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even her name is a mystery. The translation of her name means the zinat of the father, the pride of the father. jewel of the Father. But how can we understand that in the place where Hassanain are there, in the place when Sayyida Shabab Ahl al-Jannah are there, Ali and Rasulullah and Fatima al-Zahra, they don't name her, Allah names her. And Allah sees that in this household there are two, Lawla wal Marjan, Hassanain are there, but Allah chooses to identify and designate Zinat Ali as this daughter, Zahra al-Thani, Fatima al-Sughra, Zainab al-Kubra. Rasulullah said, after Allah chose this name for his daughter Zainab, Rasulullah said to Ali, Ya Ali, Anta Zainur Rahman. Ya Ali, you yourself are the Zaina of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Zinatul Rahman, Zainur Rahman. Ya Ali, Anta Zainur Rahman. Then Ali, who himself is Zainur Rahman, how can we begin to understand his daughter, who is Zaina of Ali, who is Zainur Rahman? I have heard many times in the ziyarat, people go fast forward, but don't ever pause and pay a little attention of what we are calling her. One of the title of this lady is Adilatul Hussein. Do we know what Adila means? Have you ever taken any math classes, algebra classes? You come to solve equations. And equations are two mathematical order on either side of an equal sign. Even though they look different, but that equal sign tells us that no matter how the left and right they look different, but the value is the same. Therefore, in Arabic, equation is called ma'adila. And that's the same word for adila. Adilatul Hussein means equal to Hussein. They look different. One is male, one is female. One is without hijab, one is under hijab. One is a mother, one is a father. One is a husband, one is a wife. One is a son, one is a daughter. But that title, Adilatul Hussein, is telling us that whatever Hussein is, Zainab is his equal. Adilatul Hussein. You want to measure Hussein? Allah has given us in this hadith the scale to measure Hussein. حسين مني وأنا من حسين قال رسول الله. So Hussein is from me and I am from Hussein. If Rasulullah is from Hussein, Hayat Hussein is Hayat Rasulullah. Ma'ash Hussein is Ma'ash Rasulullah. Mashiyat al-Hussein is Mashiyat Rasulullah. That means what? Adilat al-Hussein fits the same equation. You ever thought about that? What Adilat al-Hussein means? That's why when we recite her ziyarah starts with telling us who her grandfather is. She is the daughter of that grandfather to give us a hint what Adilatul Hussein means. There is a phrase that is mind-boggling in Ziyarat Zainab salamullah alayha. Assalamu alayki ya bint khayr khalq Allah wa sayyid khalqihi wa awwal al-adad qabl ijad ardih wa samawatih wa akhir al-abad ba'd fana' ad-dunya wa ahlihi. You are the daughter of the first one, and you are the daughter of the last one. You are the daughter of the one who existed before earth and heaven were created. And you are the daughter of the one who will remain after everything is destroyed. Allah wants us, Ma'soom, giving us this ziyarah, wants us to direct our attention to understand who she is. She is fully engaged in what is happening in Karbala, but she does not lose the sight of the haqiqah underneath of Karbala. Karbala is what is happening in front of her. Karbala is her waqa'iyah. Karbala is what is happening. Waqa' means what is happening. There's a surah in Quran in that name. But behind every waqa' is a haqiqah. What is happening is that everybody is witnessing what is happening. But what is being haqiqah is only Zainab's eyes can see. What is happening is a slaughtering of the sons of Rasulullah. But what is haqiqah is what Zainab says, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. She's engaged in the suffering and the pain, but she does not lose the sight of haqiqah illa jamila, except beauty. I haven't seen anything. Can you imagine killing your brothers, killing your sons, killing your nephews, killing a 6-month-old baby in front of you in that tragic way? You look at that. That is what's happening. Your heart bleeds. She stays steadfast and strong to make sure that the remaining of Ahlul Bayt, they don't fall apart. When Abdullah, her husband, in her return to Medina, asked her, I heard when they brought Aunu Muhammad, you did not cry. Why? She said, because I did not want to make other ladies who have lost their children broken. If I had cried, then who would they look up to for strength? This is Zainab. She's witnessing what is happening, but she keeps an eye on the haqiqah of what is happening. When she says, I do not see anything except beauty, she means that by this suffering, but this sacrifices, she can witness that kalimatullah ilaha illallah remains. That is the beauty that she sees. She sees Tawheed is surviving while Hussein is being sacrificed. Hussein is Imam. Imam is Zahir. Wilaya is Zahir of Tawheed. The batin of Wilaya is Tawheed. So Zainab, seeing that what is happening is Shahada and sacrifice of the Imam, but she also sees the survival of what counts. Kalimatullah ilaha illallah Tawheed. These Ahlul Bayt, including Zainab, they were mazloom, they were oppressed, but they were not ajiz, they were not helpless. One word from Zainab, One word from Imam Sajjad, one word from Imam Hussein himself would have turned the event upside down. Jibreel came, asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, me and the rest of the angels, we knew this is going to happen to Hussein, but Ya Allah, we thought we can tolerate. We are out of the level of patience and tolerance. Give us the permission to go assist Hussein. When he said, Hal min nasiri yansurni, and nobody was able to answer, Labbaik ya Hussein, Jibreel got emotional and asked Allah to go down to Karbala and wipe out the enemies. Hussein says, Hal min nasiri yansurni, and Jibreel sits on the arsh and watch. Allah says, up to you, go and ask him. If he welcomes your help, I have no objection. They came. Before Jibreel opens his mouth, Hussein says, Lima ajad? Why have you come? Minutes before he said, Hal min nasiri yansurni. He said, Ajad, linasrik ya Hussein. I came with all these malaika to help you, Hussein. He said, you came to help me? Ja'atu linasrullah. I came to help Allah. Who are you to come and help me? That's what Zainab is seeing. Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. That's what she says. I haven't seen anything the beauty. What is beauty in the eye of Zina of Ali? What is beauty of Ali being Zinatul Rahman? That is Tawheed. Ali is Zinatul Rahman because of Ali, Tawheed exists. And Zainab is Zinat Ali because of her sacrifice and her brother's sacrifices. Tawheed survives. They come, and when she wants to stand up and speak, one word from her shuts down the entire audience. Not only that, when she says, Eskutu, سكنت هوى وفرست فضا وسكنت أنفاس وسكتوا أرجاس في أعناق الإبل. When she said silence, she didn't scream silence. With the wagar and elegance, she just said silence. Not with the high pitch, not screaming. The daughter of Ali does not need to scream. That's what Sheikh Mufid narrates. And when she says silence, the airflow stops. Sakanat al-hawa. The entire fada, the space, stilled. The breathing of the people stopped in their chests. And the jingle bells around the necks of the camels, they stop. Subhanallah, what a measurement. I always thought, why in this narration they mention that? Why? Because it tells you that Zainab orders to silence is also obeyed by animals that are present there, including camel. By hawa, by air. The particles of air, they followed the command of Zainab. And in the book of Sheikh Mufid, he explains this. He said, when she gave that order, كانت سلام الله عليها في ذلك الوقت نائبة الإمام. When she gave that order, she was acting on behalf of Waliyul Amr. And Amruha كأمر الإمام, and her order is the order of Hujjatullah. And when she says silence, this universe has no choice but to cease any voices. And imagine you are in chain, in ropes, the heads of your beloved around you, and your enemy number one is sitting there, and you address him, Yabnat Tulaqa. What does that mean? That means she's addressing to Yazid, you are the one whose parents were freed because of my grandfather Rasulullah. When he conquered Mecca, Rasulullah could have captivated all of this. All of these Abu Sufyans and Bani Umayyah and all of them, they were there. But Rasulullah says, Antumut tulaqa, you are free, go. He freed them after he conquered them. So Zainab is telling Yazid, in front of him with all the weapons that he has, with all the soldiers and the armies around him, look at the bravery of Zainab, the daughter of Zahra. You want to wipe our names? La tamhuna. You can never wipe our names and our remembrance on the surface of this planet. And how truthful she was. Every time you enter in Damascus, welcome to the city of Zainab. Sham was the capital of Muawiyah and Yazid. It was the capital of the enemy of Hussein and Yazid. But now Sham is known for one thing and one thing only. The shrine of Sayyid Zainab, rising high above the sky of Damascus. And nobody knows where is the grave of that mal'un. That's why she said, you can never, la tamhun, you can never wipe our names. Fada'il al-Zainab cannot be summarized in 110 nights. It deserves sessions after sessions. Just explaining the words on her ziyarah needs 10 sessions. But tonight, we have to concentrate on her title, al-Masab. And inshallah, stay with me quiet. I want to cover as much as possible slowly of Masa'ib, the daughter of Zahra and Ali, Adilat al-Hussein. I want you to come with me to a spiritual journey. Let's go to the city and the house where she's being born. And she's being handed off to be named. Amir al-Mu'minin says, I do not name her when Rasulullah is there. They bring Rasulullah. Rasulullah says, Ali has the knowledge of this dunya and the universe. He knows that even I do not, and I cannot name her ahead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's how she gets the name, the sharaf, the aziz, Zain of Amir al-Mu'minin, Zainab, who himself is Zain al-Rahman. One of the first acts Rasulullah did to Zainab reminds us of the Messiah. When he glanced at her hands, he took her beautiful small baby hands and he starts kissing the wrists and the forearms of Zainab. Then he ran his finger through the hair of Zainab. Then slowly he rubbed gently the back of Zainab. As he's doing these acts, his tears are coming down. Fatima al-Zahra looks at her father, Baba, is there something wrong with the forearms and the rest of my baby? Is there something wrong with her hair? Is there something wrong with her back? Rasulullah at that moment says, this is why this baby of yours, Ya Zahra, is Ummul Masa'ib. I can foresee the bruises and the marks around her wrist and forearm. I can see that hijab being removed from her hair. I can see that her backs becomes the landing of the whips and lashes of those who would kill his brother Hussein. But did that shaken Zainab as she grew up? And look at, we call her Adilat al-Hussein, but in the behavior of Hussein, it seems like Hussein respected her more than that. You all know that whenever Fatima al-Zahra entered a room that Rasulullah was present, no matter what age she was at, Rasulullah stood up and walked toward her. Same thing, same behavior we see from Hussein towards Zainab. Every time she entered in a room that Hussein was present, he stood up and walked towards Zainab. This was not a custom or a common practice of that time among these people. Neither of those acts. Rasulullah is telling us that Zahra is that wujud muqaddasa, that the entire Risala stands up to welcome her because she connects Risala to Imam. And Hussein is telling us that the entire Imam rises when Zainab enters because she makes Tawheed and Imamah to continue. She is the seal that certified that the line of Imamah through Imam al-Sajjad continues until today with Sahib al-Amr wal-Zaman, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. That's why Hussein rises up and walks towards Zainab, even if he is reciting Quran sitting. You all know that when we recite Quran, if somebody walks in, we don't stand up, we continue reading Quran. Why? Because when you read Quran, Allah is talking to you. And you cannot interrupt that conversation to greet other people. You do not stop the conversation that Khaliq is giving you to greet Makhluq. That's why you continue reciting Quran. Hussein reverses this act with Zainab. When he is reciting Quran and Zainab enters, he stands up, closes the Quran, and go receive Zainab. Why? Because receiving Zainab is another page turned of Quran in the eye of Hussein. That Zainab who can understand and fully aware of what is happening around her does not lose sight of Haqiqah. She brings in Aunu Muhammad, her two sons, and she refers to them, "Oh, my lions, you are my lions." Why? Because you have the gene of Ja'far Tayyar and Haydar Karrar. On one side, they are the grandson of Ja'far Tayyar. And the other side, they are the grandson of Haydar Karrar. Very shuja, two young sons. Young, yes, but shuja. Trained, brave. They know nothing about fear except fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh my lions, make sure that the way you fight, people will remember how Ja'far and how my father, how my uncle Ja'far and how my father Amir al-Mu'minin used to fight. Remind them what genes you have. Remind them whose blood is running through your veins. But oh my lions, because you are shuja, and because you are skillful, and because they have no chance to resist you, you will reach Furat. You will conquer the enemy to pass through them, breaking their lines of defense and arriving at the river Furat. But once you remember, you got there, you should remember that the children of Hussein are thirsty. Hussein himself is thirsty. The children of Hassan are thirsty. Remember that. My wasiyah to you is this: even though you are tempted because you are thirsty, after breaking the line of enemy, you become even more tired and more thirsty and more deserving and desiring water. I want you, out of respect for your uncle and his children, do not drink water and accept the shahada. Atshan, with the thirsty lips. Ummul Masa. They go, they conquer, they arrive at Furat, but the enemy with deceptions and ganging up on them, hundreds attack them at once instead of one by one, because one by one, they could not stop these two youngs. So they had to make a group effort and deception to bring them down. When Imam al-Hussein arrived, one of them was still breathing. The other one was already shaheed. After he greeted his uncle Hussein, he said, "Oh uncle, give my message to our mother Zainab. Tell her we fulfilled our promise to you." He did not say to Hussein what was the promise. Look at the adab of the moment that he is going to become shaheed. Still, he does not want his uncle to be embarrassed. Just tell our mother we kept our promise. They come back. Hussein brings their body to the khiyam and asks Zainab to come and say salam and al-wida to her children. Zainab comes, sits in between the two bodies of and Muhammad, puts her left hand and right hand on their chest, and she says, Muhammad, now that you are gone, whom should I offer to be sacrificed for Hussein? That is the only complaint she makes, to make sure that Hussein hears Zainab, that her faith in Imam and Allah is unshaken on the face of this tragic event. She does not lose the sight of haqiqah behind the shahada of her kids. And then you know the masa'ib that she endured and witnessed and watched. And she saw what they did to Hussein. Hussein had received so many arrows on his chest that when he crawled toward the depth of Qatlegah, he could not lay on his chest. He leaned toward the earth, but the arrows between his chest and the ground, they made him have a degree like 45 degrees. That's what Zainab saw. She saw that Mal'un grabbing Hussein's head. After the shahadat of Hussein, before they are moved to Kufa, she comes and the narrator says, Hamid ibn Muslim is a narrator, is a historian. On the enemy's camp, he writes what he sees. He says, I saw Zainab as if she's doing tawaf around the body of Hussein, going from one end to another, circling around. And then she faced toward Medina. Ya Ummah, O my mother, how can I fulfill your last wasiyah to me? I do not find any space enough, big enough on your son's Hussein's body that I can land my lips to kiss to fulfill your last wasiyah to me, which was, Ya Zainab, kiss Hussein after he is shaheed. Kiss Hussein before he is shaheed. Kiss Hussein after he is shaheed. Finally, she decides the only big enough spot on Hussein's body is the dangling jugular vein of Hussein out of his neck. Masa'ib. What has gone through her heart? Is that enough? That is not enough. Now she has to look at the way they are treating Sakina, the way they are treating Kulsum, the way they are treating Rubab and Layla and the rest of the ladies of Ahlul Bayt, the way they make them in chain and put them on the camels without saddles. She has to witness that Sakina's hand is tied up with her hair above her head. She has to witness that. And then they come to the gates of Kufa, the city that her father was Amir. When the first time her father brought Zainab to Kufa after he moved from Medina, he wrote a letter to Imam Mushtaba, bring Zainab and Kulsum to Kufa. But, oh my son, travel at night so they do not see too many strangers on the daytime. They're not exposed to the strangers. The daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen are so respectful. No Mubarak eyes should be laid on them, glance on them. They come and Amir al-Mu'mineen receives them at the gate of Kufa. And he gives them a tour of the city. And then he stops a place and he asks Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein to open up the cabin over the camel where Zainab is sitting in. They open the curtain. Amir al-Mu'mineen tells Zainab, look, this place is called the Kufa Bazaar. Hi. Baba, why would I need to come to Bazaar? Why you show me the Bazaar? I have Abbas and Hussein and Hassan. They will go and shop for me. Why should I even come to Bazaar? What business do I have to do with this Bazaar? Tears comes down from the eyes of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And Zainab remembers that night. Now, after Ashura, she has arrived at the gate. Is there his father coming to embrace her and greet her at the gate? No. What does she see at the gate? She sees the dangling janazah of Muslim ibn Aqil. That's the first greeting of Kufa to Zainab. Baba, on the 19th of Ramadan, you were my guest. Now I have come to be your guest. And this is how I am treated? My cousin Muslim's body hanging on the gate of Kufa, our town? How could I tell my sister, his wife, to look up? Does that ends the Masa'ib of Zainab? La wallah. Masa'ib of Zainab in Kufa continues. Masa'ib of Zainab on the way from Kufa to Sham continues. And in Sham, the great musibah of losing the 3.5 years old baby Sakina. Her shahada, we talked about last week. She witnesses that. After Zainab and Sajjad, they make it obvious that Yazid has lost everything. Yazid asks, what can I do for you? Imam Sajjad says, return our belonging. The first thing they return are the heads. One by one, they bring a head to giving to the ladies. When they bring Ali Akbar, the man who is carrying it says, I wish the mother of this beautiful person is already dead and cannot see this beautiful head. Ali Akbar ashbahun nas, Rasulullah. When his mother comes and accepts Ali Akbar's head. Then they bring a small baby head. And Rubab grabs that head. And مثلك تنهر Aliyas. Would people behead a baby like you, Ya Aliyas? And all of a sudden, a man comes with 2 young heads, oh no, Muhammad, and looks around. No ladies are reaching out to grab those heads. Zainab sees those heads, recognizes them, and she averts her eyes from those heads. Eventually, Fidda walks up and goes to Zainab, says, Ya Sayyidati, oh my master, allow me to receive the heads of your sons. Fidda comes and grabs the 2 heads of Aun and Muhammad and brings them to Zainab and says to her, at least say your veda to them. Say goodbye to them. Zainab says, Fidda, you don't know who we are? I am the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Fatima al-Zahra. When we gave away something in sadaqah, we do not take it back, ya Fidda. Return them. And Imam Sajjad orders the heads to be gathered to bring back, to be buried in Karbala. And that brings us to Arba'in. On the 20th of Safar, 40 days after the Shahada, they return back to Karbala. Is the Masa'ib of Zainab ended yet? No, continues. Arba'in is that day. Subhanallah. What can be said about Jabir? Every time we are reminded of Jabir's name, his name is associated either with Hadith Kasa Fatima al-Zahra, or his name is associated with Arba'in Hussein. What a great personality, that his name is always brought up. Jabir had arrived on Karbala's land before the caravan of Imam Sajjad arrives with heads. The narrator says, he made ghusl in Farad and put on his cleanest robe, and he walked very slow, his feet next to each other like baby steps. Atiyah, his servant, asked him, Ya Jabir, why do you walk like this? He said, I heard from Rasulullah said that anybody who walks to ziyarah to my grandson Hussein, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send 70,000 malak to bless him for every step he takes. And I want to increase the number of steps I take toward my dear Hussein. He arrives. There is no marks on any grave, but Jabir comes directly and says, Atiyah, this is where my Habibi Hussein is buried. Why? Because I can smell Atr al-Mubarak of Hussein. I can smell the beautiful Mubarak fragrance of Hussein. That's who Jabir is. Jabir says, Atiyah, look toward the direction of Sham. And as soon as you see my master Imam Sajjad, let me know. I will give you anything you want as a bashara of seeing my Imam Sajjad. Atiyah keeps looking on the horizon, and he sees a caravan is coming. And he asks Jabir, how does your master look like? He says, he's a young Rashid. He walks earth's shadows. He is the son of Hussein, the first Ali after the Amir al-Mu'mineen. He is beautiful. He walks straight, strong, with strength. Atiyah says, that means this person that I can see is not your master. He said, who do you see? He said, I see an old man, broken, walking in halat al-ruku'. And he looks old. This cannot be your Imam. Jabir can feel the fragrance of Imam. He turns toward that direction and runs toward Imam Sajjad. Ya Sayyidi. Imam Sajjad comes down. Subhanallah. What is Zainab is witnessing? She is witnessing for the first time Sajjad is broken to tears, and he can actually demonstrate mourning for his father Hussein. Why? Because he sees Jabir and he considers Jabir as their great uncle. Ya Ammi ya Jabir, ha hadha al-Hussein. Ya Ammi, oh my uncle ya Jabir, this is where they slaughtered my father Hussein. This is where they slaughter Abbas. This is where they slaughter Qasim. This is where they slaughter Ali. He breaks in tears, and Jabir is the first one in the history of mankind to give أعظم الله أجورك يا علي ibn al-Hussein. That's the first. That's another honor for Jabir. Then Zainab takes charge of all the ladies of Haram. Everybody comes and asks Imam Sajjad, who is buried here? Imam Sajjad says, this is Hussein. They say, wow, Hussein, they mourn. Who is next to him? Who is this grave? This is Ali Akbar. This is Ali Asghar. He names all of them. And Zainab stands up and look around, Sajjad, where is my brother Abbas? They tell Zainab, his body is by the Farat, by the river. She asked all the ladies to walk toward Abbas, and she warns them, all of you feel free to share with Abbas what they have done to us and to you, all the tortures that you were exposed to, but be careful
One thing I ask you not to mention to Abbas. What is that, Ya Zainab? Do not tell Abbas we left Sakina in Sham. Is Masa'ib Zainab finished? They come back to Medina. Told you, tonight I want to give you a summary of complete Masa'ib of Zainab, to make a thawab for dunya and akhirah for all of us. She arrives in Medina. The first thing she does, Ya Sajjad, take me to the grave of our grandfather Rasulullah. Ya Jadda, Ya Rasulullah. She puts her two arms, two hands on the top front of the door of Masjid al-Nabi. Ya Rasulullah, inni na'itu bika alayka biwaladika al-Husayn. Ya Rasulullah, I want to give you the news, the bad news of your son Hussein. I want to tell you about the dagger in the hand of Shem that cut out Farid al-Hussein. I want to tell you about everything they did to your grandson Hussein. But Rasulullah, if the non-mahram were not around me, I would have shown you the marks on my hands and on my back. As she finished there, she asked Sajjad, take me to Baqi. I want to say salam to our mother Zahra. She comes to Baqi. She goes to a grave and she sits down. Ummah, oh my mother, here is the robe of Hussein immersed in his blood. She throws that on the grave and the land starts shaking as an earthquake. And Zainab says, Mom, you cannot tolerate the bloody robe of my brother Hussein. What about me? Wallah, I saw the cut off veins on his neck. Wallah, I saw what they did to his back. Wallah, I saw how the horses run over his body. Ya Ummah, you cannot tolerate just a bloody robe. She cried so much. Then Abdullah came to Imam Sajjad, asked his permission. Ya Sayyidi, allow your aunt to return to her house, not because of anything, except that I know she's also a mother. She hasn't had a chance to mourn for Awna Muhammad. Let her come in her privacy, in her house, to mourn for her sons. Because I know it is in her heart. She hasn't exposed it. It hasn't come out yet. Because she is looking after everybody except herself. Imam Sajjad says to Zainab, I order you as your Imam, leave us and go see your house. Go to your house. Zainab reluctantly walks toward her house. She enters the house. In the center of the house, there are still two sajjada. One belongs to On and one belongs to Muhammad. Spread on the floor. She sits between them, grabs them and put these sajjadas on her chest. And this is for the first time that she breaks in tears. After all, she is a mother. She starts saying, Oh, ya On, oh, ya Muhammad, for the first time. She starts crying. And as she cries, Abdullah enters. Abdullah enters in his own house and she sees this strange old lady grabbing the two sajjadas of his sons and crying for Awna Muhammad. He averts his eyes and turns his back and says, Oh, Sitti, oh old lady, I am sorry, you got the wrong house. This is the house of Abdullah ibn Jafar wa Zainab bint Ali. You please leave. You are not mahram to us. Why you don't have hijab? Why you are in this house? Oh, ya Zainab. Zainab says, Abdullah, you don't recognize me. This is me, Zainab. Abdullah looks at Zainab and breaks in tears. What happened to you? This is not how you look when you left me. Abdullah, this is me. And then all of a sudden, Zainab puts, oh, yeah, Zainab, she puts her two hands over her head. As soon as Abdullah sees the hands, the narrator says Abdullah stood up 3 times and fall off, stood up 3 times and fall off. And on the 3rd time, Zainab said, why Abdullah, you cannot tolerate to hear the news of Shahadat, your sons and Muhammad? Zainab asked Abdullah. Abdullah says, La wallah, if I had hundreds more sons, I will give them as a sacrifice to Hussein. You know that. Then why you passed out, Abdullah? Why you fall off the earth? He said, what are those bruises and those marks on your forearms, on your wrist, ya Zainab? Zainab says, this is my new jewelry. This is what they have done to us, ya Abdullah. Before she left Sham, she looked at the Sham and said, Sakina, Wallah, I will come back. Years later, she fulfilled her promise. She came back. Some narration says she was poisoned. She is facing her last breath on this earth. Her husband and others are around her in Sham. What does she ask as her last request? Abdullah, ask these ladies to make my bed in the center of the yard under the sun. Why? He asked. Outside is hot. You are inside comfortable. She says, Abdullah, I witnessed the body of Khairul Khalq Hussein under the sun, and I want to die remembering what they did to my brother Hussein. Assalamu alayki ya bint Sayyid al-Anbiya. Assalamu alayki ya bint Sahib al-Hawza wal-Laba. Assalamu alayki ya بنت من عرج إلى السماء ووصل إلى مقام قاب قوسين أو أدنى. السلام عليك يا زينب الكبرى ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا حسين يا حسين
يا حسين يا حسين. جزاك الله دكتور فريد. اسد بسم الله.
جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. آل عمران کہاں اور زندان کہاں، یہ بہن قید ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. ہم کو پانی نہ ملے تیری خوشبو تو رہے، تیرے بازو نہ کٹیں چاہے مشکیزہ چھدے، یہ مگر ہو نہ سکا تیرے بازو ہے جدا. مجھ پہ ہے تشنا نبی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی. دھوپ میں تو تھا شجر تجھ سے آباد تھا گھر، ہے برہنا میرا سر کیا نہیں تجھ کو خبر. اے علمدار وفا اس بہن کو باخدا، تجھ سے ڈھارستی بڑی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، آ گئے شام علم لٹ گئے اہل حرم، ریت پر چلتی ہوئی ہو گیا ٹھنڈا علم، پرسہ دینے کے لیے مجھ سے ملنے کے لیے آ گئے بابا علی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، کیا کہوں شعر میرے بیردا ہم کو لیے، یہ مسلمان سارے شہر در شہر گئے، خلقت کوفہ کبھی خلقت شام کبھی، بارہا ہم پہ حسین تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، کتنی بے بس تھی بہن اے شہنشاہ وفا، نام لے لے کے میرا جب یہ ظالم نے کہا، ناز تھا جس پہ تجھے اب بلاؤ نہ اسے، اور میں روتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، قید خانے میں قضا جب سکینہ کو ملی، دیکھ کرتے کا کفن بچی دفنائی گئی، اس گھڑی نام تیرا صورت ناد علی بس میں دہراتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، آل عمران کہاں اور زندان کہاں، یہ بہن قید ہوئی تو نہ آیا غازی، جب ردا سر سے چھینی میں صدا دیتی رہی تو نہ آیا غازی، یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. متوجه زيارة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين يا حاكم يوم الدين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا مولا يا أبا محمد يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبو الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين، وسيدة زينب وأم كلثوم وسكينة زارت جناب زينب سلام الله عليها. السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله، السلام عليك يا بنت نبي الله، السلام عليك يا بنت محمد المصطفى، السلام عليك يا بنت ولي الله، السلام عليك يا بنت علي المرتضى سيد الأوصياء والصديقين، السلام عليك يا بنت فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا أخت الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة الأجمعين، السلام عليك أيتها السيدة الزقية، السلام عليك أيتها الداعية الخفية، السلام عليك أيتها التقية النقية، السلام عليك أيتها الراضية المرضية، السلام عليك أيتها العالمة الغير معلمة، السلام عليك أيتها الفهيمة الغير المفحمة، السلام عليك أيتها المظلومة، السلام عليك أيتها المحمومة، السلام عليك أيتها المغمومة، السلام عليك أيتها الصديقة، السلام عليك أيتها المكروبة، السلام عليك أيتها المعسورة، السلام عليك أيتها الصاحبة صاحبة المصيبة العظمى، السلام عليك يا زينب الكبرى ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا مولاي علي بن الحسين الزين العابدين، السلام عليك يا مولاي محمد بن علي الباقر، السلام عليك يا مولاي جعفر بن محمد الصادق، السلام عليك يا مولاي باب الهوائج يا موسى بن جعفر الكاظم، السلام عليك يا مولاي غريب الغرباء يا علي بن موسى الرضا وأختك فاطمة مأسومة، السلام عليك يا مولاي محمد بن علي التقي الجواد، السلام عليك يا مولاي علي بن محمد الحادي النقي، السلام عليك يا مولاي حسن بن علي الزقي الأصقري، السلام عليك يا سيدنا يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان، سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان وشر الشيطان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسحل الله تعالى مخرجك وزهورك.
بسم
الله
الله
الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة من الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه ورزقته وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسنت جزاك الله. Brothers and sisters, let us recite this ayah Karima 5 times for all the mu'mineen around the world who are in need of our du'as, who are under any sort of distress, who are ill, especially for Razi uncle, and especially for the Zahura Sahib Asri wa Zaman. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujibu al-muttarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su' عما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء 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 برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Sisters, please recite Surah Al-Fatiha for all of you marhumin, especially for the marhumin on the Jafaria Memorial Board. Al-Fatiha.
الله جميعا.
Inshallah, brothers and sisters, we'll see you all tomorrow at 8:40 with dua tawassul, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.